What's up? What's up? What's up, Bethany? What's up, Malaya? Good to see you. Julia, can saw you for a second. See you no mo. What's up, Jess? Happy Monday. Going for a run. Overrated, bro. Overrated. Overrated. Let's talk about things that are overrated in life. Running a business, number one, very overrated. Zero fun. Working out, also very overrated. Also zero fun. Um, Growing, personally growing, very overrated. Let's not do that either. Um, yeah, I think those are all the things. Those are all the things. They're all overrated things. So if you guys think those are cool, then like you're in the wrong room. Those
It's
things are
so
all.
funny. I just sent this to Logan. You guys, this is hilarious. It says, I am convinced business is a self-development tool disguised as a money-making game. The more you work on it, the more it works on you.
Mm.
Your business is a mirror. It reflects your strengths, your blind spots, and the stuff you've been pretending isn't there. It forces you to look at the parts of you you'd rather put in a box and hide from. Selling exposes your self-worth. Hiring exposes your control issues, and leadership exposes your communication. And scaling, that exposes everything. You thought you were building a business, but you're also building a new version of you. Felt that one today.
Yeah, it sucks. Let's just not do that. Let's ignore that. Can you just can you unsend that? I don't want to see that. Let's unsend that. Yeah, so today is fun. I don't know if fun's the right word, but today is what it is. So we're gonna share how you can grow how you can grow a business really fast and how you can have it crash really, really fast as well. Which is we all want the positive. We all want to make a lot of money really quickly, and we don't, and then but we don't want to pay the price that you could also lose very quickly. And so yeah, this is what it is. So let's just talk. Let's just not talk. Let's just share numbers and share data and get rid of the emotions and let's just move on. So yes, welcome to the road to a million, where we'll show you how to grow it and we'll show you how to lose it all. Here we go. All right. Let's see here. 4-5 to 4-11. This is the right week. Okay. So I don't even know what week we're on anymore. It's not 56 though, I don't think. I think it is 55, 56. So the week number 57. Week number 57 in business. Um Projected monthly revenue for the month of April, $63,000, which actually has gone down. Yeah, it went down last week. Um Katie, why did it go down? Why did it go down?
We have little cleaners, little amount of cleaners. We actually have cleaners,
When you
just
say
current.
little cleaners, do you mean like little, like fun sized, or
Yeah, the
just
fun size ones like to show up. Big ones, they don't like to show up. So we have little cleaners here.
yeah, it's fun.
No, little number of cleaners. And the cleaners that we do have, they have a reliability issue. So we are having to move cleans and move clients and send office staff to the wilderness of cleaning. And it's tough times here.
We're we're putting Elia on a plane to come down here so she can clean. Well, I didn't know that, but that's what's happening. Um, yeah. So our last 30 days revenue is $77,000, and last week it was at 82. So last week we almost were at that $83,000 mark. Then last week it's going down. Next 30 days revenue is 51, gone down significantly. Trailing 12 months revenue, that is 100% not right. That's I don't know what that is, but that is definitely not correct. I'm just going to go ahead and put a little delete sign right there. Current monthly revenue is $30,000, and weekly revenue last week was 14. Katie, do you remember what the week started out as?
No, I don't.
It was like 16. So yeah, we I mean, if you look at the last 3 weeks, it's like 3 weeks ago we had $19,000, and then 17, and then 18, and then last week was like we really felt it. Dropped all the way down to 14. We started the week at 16, and yeah, just had to keep canceling claims. So much fun, so much fun. Total recurring clients 168, just holding steady. Weekly cleans 63. Rodent hood clean is 230. Cleaners 13, although this number is skewed because one of our office gals was actually cleaning, so she is technically counted inside this. And it doesn't account for the 4 people who quit last week. What the frick? Oh my God. They just keep falling. They just keep falling off. 27 assigned cleaning hours, 266 total hours. That seems off, but it might be correct. We'll double check it. So this week's revenue is 14,000. 5,000 was initial clean, and 9,000 was reoccurring. We've collected some of it. Actually, this number is actually pretty high because the person who was doing invoicing is no longer on the team anymore. So that's why this number is way higher than normal. So we have $7,000 in less than 7 days, and then almost $3,000 in greater than 7 days revenue. So that outstanding, that invoicing is a very important job. Give away a couple discounts. Only 1 correction clean. 3 Google review discounts, and then some homepage vouchers. We sent no marketing material last week because it's not the problem we're trying to solve in this very moment.
Maybe we should send an internal marketing message that says, hey, if you want to move your clean for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Good.
You want to move your clean to May? We might be able to service you then. Yeah, we turned our Google local services way down. We were spending like $400 or $500 a week, and now we're spending. Last week we spent $88, and then Facebook we were also spending like, and this will be a lot more on next sheet because I turned this down late last week, but yeah, I think right now on Facebook we're spending. Like, I think I turned it down this weekend to $75 a day, which is less than $700, so it's closer to like $550 to $600. So like I cut it in half. There's like we have a pipeline of 100 leads that just haven't even got touched yet. So yeah, well below our ad spend goal. But also to note though, we're not turning it off. We're just turning it down because like this momentum is super important. So I would never recommend ever turning anything off. But in these moments, definitely turn it down. And so again, on next week's vision sheet, you'll see this is actually going to be quite a bit down. But we're still getting leads. So even with all that being said, we got 58 leads from Facebook, 5 missed calls, 1 Google local services, 8 homepage leads, 6 incoming call leads. So we still got 80 leads, $16 a lead. So it's enough to maintain on and to set us up into the future. Spots unfilled, 17 spots this week. So also not promising. And Keziah didn't make a ton of phone calls because she was out in the field a couple times. Emma, we'll probably not see Emma in the office anymore, in all fairness. But Elia made 100 calls, and there is one name that's on here that has been on here for the last 6 months that's no longer on here, which is Megan. And so, yeah, Megan called out for 3 days last week, and Elia and Keziah took care of the office, and yeah, did a lot of work. And then Megan has had reliability issues. This is like I've had 2 separate conversations with her. The last one being in December, and then I think I had one with her in like October about her reliability issues. And then it happened again this week under like the most crucial point. Like this week was tough. This was a tough week. And for her not to show up was like yeah, it just made me see that like under hard times, people will find a way not to show up. They'll be sick. They'll just avoid the work, whatever it may be. And we actually decided to put her back in the field. That's actually the decision we made. And then she said no to that, and she just quit. So, which wasn't unexpected. But yeah, so we also lost an office person last week as well. And so yeah, feeling it for sure. So with that being said, we had 33 Calls answered, we had 27 missed calls, so this number has gone up quite a bit. 26 quote calls scheduled, 12 showed, performed 32, and closed 21. So you can see Elia did a freaking great job. And because I did a great job too for being understaffed and in the field and still finding a way to produce $5,000 of revenue on, yeah. So good job. And then conversions, got 3 conversions. Again, it wasn't the main area of a focus last week. Surviving was the main focus of last week. So
My takeaway from that week last week for the office staff, anyway, is like leaders have to be responsible for going first. They have to be responsible for it's really easy to show up when it's really sunshine and rainbows and we're growing and it's fun and it's quote unquote easy and like the hard hasn't set in. And then when it's hard, like that's when we absolutely need all hands on deck, people showing up.
Yeah.
And the timing of a call out in dire times, there was like it wasn't simply just the call out that led us to the decision of giving her the offer to stay as a cleaner, but not in the seat of an office. It also was mostly due to the lack of consideration in the heat of the moment. Like there was no, let me grab my computer, let me help you from home. Oh my gosh, thank you for holding the fort down while I was out for 3 days. It was, it truly showed us the team's true colors, if you will, their true values, their true star attributes, and both Elia and Keziah stepped up to the plate and freaking crushed it.
Yeah. Great point, Katie. That's actually really good. And something I said last week too is like the positive part about going through a difficult situation is that you'll figure out real quickly who people really are. When things get hard, that's who people really are. And so I think it's one of the reasons why you want to date somebody, and I mean that in every possible way you can think of, for a long period of time before you make the commitment. So that means dating them in a relationship. It could mean dating them in a business partnership. Any sort of thing where there's going to be a long-term commitment, like you actually want an extensive dating period. Because and what you're looking for during that dating period is like, how does this person respond when things get hard? And the the decision making filter that I would encourage everyone to at least like use is like, how does this person respond in this situation? Like, would I be okay with they made that decision every single day for the rest of their lives? Am I willing to accept that every single day? And if you're not, then like you shouldn't stay in the relationship. You shouldn't stay committed to that person. You shouldn't make the decision to commit to that person. Hopefully that's where you are in the decision process. Hopefully it's not, you already are on the other side of that. Because most people will justify and they'll make excuses for why somebody did what they did. But the reality is like that's what like people, as much as we talk about change and growth, like people rarely do change. And you shouldn't I shouldn't say this, you shouldn't. Believe people for who they are today and don't fall in love with who they could be in the future. Like either fall in love with them today, but don't fall in love with them on who they could be.
Or who they say they are.
Yeah. Because that gap, that expectation will just it will leave you frustrated because you didn't believe people when they showed you who they were. And yeah. And with all this being said, like it also brings like I have a lot of confidence in both Elia and Keziah because of like how they responded during these times. And not once did they complain, not once did they get were they like that's not my job? Were they like oh, I can't do that? Both were just like how do we figure this out? And just taking action and just going. Just doing the best they can on the limited information that they have access to. And like that's the asset. And as much as as much as we like to focus on outcomes, and we like to see the business growing. Like the most important asset is the human being that you have sitting in your office positions. Like that's your asset, because that person is going to be the one who's going to be the leader to the cleaners. They're also going to be the ones who talk to the clients. And so like that is the asset. If you can find somebody who, when shit gets hard, they get harder, like that's who you want. That's an asset. That's somebody who you can build, that you can build confidence in, and you can also be confident in your decision making filter to like have them on your team and to put them in a situation where they have a lot of responsibility. And so that's the benefit of going through hard times, is that you'll get to see who is for real and who, when things get hard, they go away. And we've also seen that with a couple of our cleaners too. Like we have a couple of cleaners who are just like, dang, like super appreciate you. You're down. Like you're willing to do what it takes. And a lot of people, as we'll see down as we get to the bottom, are just not. They're like, as things get hard, they get inconvenient, like they're gonna go somewhere else. Or they're just going to not show up to work, which is happening on both sides. It's like I'm either going to go somewhere else, or I'm just not going to show up for you guys today. Okay. So as far as our number of cleans, we had 63 last week. 15 were new, 48 were reoccurring. We had one correction clean, 166 reoccurring clients, 99 occasional clients. Somehow still got 10 Google reviews last week, so we're at 459. We had 4 canceled recurring clients. We had 3 clients who came in, so we netted -1 and lost about $200 in recurring. We had a lot of canceled clients. I believe a lot of these were just like we had to cancel them because we couldn't fit them on the schedule. So it was probably a combination of both, of people, like some people do cancel, but then I know we had to cancel quite a few people last week. So, um, yeah. So Julie just asked a question. Sorry, guys. Just asked a question specifically about our office person's callouts. And so Eli actually said it really, really well up above, is that like if your office staff doesn't show up, like how do you expect your cleaners to show up? Like the office staff has more accountability than the cleaners do. Like if we think about like STARS as our acronym: service, teamwork, accountability, reliability, the fourth one being reliable, which means you actually show up to work. The office staff needs to be superstars. They need to be like extra serving the clients. They need to be extra team oriented. They need to take extra accountability. My bad for everything. And they need to be extra reliable. Like, you fucking show up. Like on Saturday and Sundays too. You know what I'm saying? Like you show up on days when you're not supposed to show up. And so this was a consistent pattern that happened with this one person. And then again, Kitty said it really well. Like it wasn't the call out itself. It was how the situation was handled, and the fact that it was at 6:30 a.m. It's like, hey guys, I can't make it in. I don't feel good. That's it. And then Eli's like, well, can you make it to work? Can you like grab your computer? And guess what her response was?
Crickets.
Crickets. Nothing. Literally nothing. I'm sorry. Like I'm trying my best doing this. Like here's my solutions. Tuesday, 7:30. Still sick, guys. Can't make it in. Can you do anything? Like no update, no communication, zero communication, and like in case said earlier, zero consideration to Keziah, to Elia. And by the way, like she obviously understands just as much as you guys know what's happening with our business. Like this is like a crazy ass time. And then Wednesday, she's like, still can't make it in. Also, now my kid is sick. Again, Eli asked her, can you at least work from home? Can you do something? Crickets. And then on Thursday, she just actually just showed up to work. Like again, didn't say anything. And then showed up to work. And then Eli had a call with her. And again, like at this point, we had made the decision that we're not going to accept that standard in the office. Like it's not fair for Eli and Keziah. It's also not fair for the team to be able to see like if those are their leaders and they're not showing up, like it's not acceptable. And so We said, you can stay on the team, but you have to go back into the field as a cleaner. And she's like, I'm not doing that. And by her response, she just showed that she's not a star. Like she was only looking at it from her perspective. She wasn't willing to do what was in the best interest of the team, which was like, well, I need you to be a cleaner right now. We actually just did 3 days without you in the office, and now we're short on cleaners. So we need to go back and clean. Nope, not going to do it. And it was great. Again, like when tough times, challenging times, it forces people to like show you who they are. Like, is that the person you guys want on your team? The person who's not willing to do what's required to help the team out. Cool. Didn't think so. And so I think Katie sent this to me. Like Katie sends me a lot of things. The only way I see things is because Katie sends things to me. But so if you guys want me to see things, you guys can send it to me. But I think she sent me something by Alex where he was like, the moment that somebody on your team says that's not my job is the moment that they don't have a job in your company. I was like, ooh, I like that. I like that. And it's good because like if I look from the filter of the people who I have the most respect of inside our company, it's like Katie, Eli, and Keziah. And not once have they ever said that, and never once could I imagine them saying those things. Like, so like, no, like, no. So
It's a great question, Julia.
great question. So cleaners, we have a cleaner deficit. So as you can see, the majority of our attention is on cleaners, and we spent $340 on Indeed. We had 42 applicants, 41 phone interviews scheduled, 32 performed, 35 Zooms scheduled, 29 performed Zoom interviews. Just for a little math. I see lots of vision sheets. I see lots of like I've never seen anyone do 30 Zoom interviews in a week before. So this is by far the most Zooms I've ever seen by anybody, any company, by a long shot. That's six. That's an average of 6 Zooms per day. Like I've been seeing all the Zoom interviews. I'm like, holy shit, these girls are doing some work, right? And then we hired 7 people. Okay, so we got a big pipeline, and you can see that they're also falling off just as fast. And so Elizabeth, I believe, graduated. Is that right, Kitty?
Uh,
Or
so last week was her second week of training, and she was here 50% of the time. So
might
technically, she hasn't. Yeah, who knows?
potentially, yeah. So again, not only do we have low cleaner numbers, but we also have people who just are not showing up. Marlene, Adriana, they're scheduled for 2 weeks. Um, these people all fell off. Genevieve and Keith actually got onboarded on Friday, and they started in the field today. Martin and Crystal also got onboard on Friday, and they did not make it to today. And then Daylin is scheduled for Thursday.
This
I think
week.
there's actually, or Dayon, sorry. I think there's actually one other person that's not on here who's I saw on the calendar who's scheduled for Thursday too. So I'll make a note for this. What is this called? Training dates. So yeah, so that's our pipeline. So it's amazing how much work it takes, and it's still not enough. We gotta do it again. Gotta do it again this week. And Megan, office girl, gone. Haley quit, no notice. Jessica was in her second week, and we decided that she just wasn't a good fit. Um, so again, back to the standards thing. Like we desperately need cleaners, but if somebody's not a good fit, and this girl by the way, she was like a really bad fit. Like just zero accountability. Believe that all the clients were taking advantage of her. Just believe everybody was out to get her. And so we just let her go. And then Jason actually got onboarded last week as well. I don't know. Jason's not even on here, but Jason got onboarded on Wednesday last week, and then by Friday, or got onboarded by what's Monday? I don't know. It doesn't matter. He got onboarded one day last week, and then by Thursday or Friday, it wasn't a good fit for him. So much work, so much work. Um, but Alyssa and Sierra, um, I would say they're the people who've been the most consistent. You can see they have 0 callouts. Alyssa has been with us since July of last year, and she's never called out one time. Like that girl's a stud. And the last couple weeks, she was like, I don't feel very good, but I'm gonna show up. And Katie actually bought her a massage this weekend, and I thought that was a very nice gesture, just like showing her appreciation. It was really cool. Sierra is somewhat new to the team. I think she's been on the team only like 5 or 6 weeks, but super consistent and like just a great human being. Just one of those people who like you would trust right away. Emma and Seda, excuse me, Emma and Sadie, Emma and Sadie. Um, yeah, Sadie's usually pretty reliable, but she's had a ton of call outs. She called out again today. So Emma, yeah, inconsistent. Ashley inconsistent. Haley quit. Josie, did Josie just call out today too?
Yep.
Nice. Michaela was at the team meeting, so that was good. Jessica again quit. Elizabeth, um, and then yeah, and this is again back to the asset. So the asset in Elia. So you guys will see Jerem down here. So Jerem is actually Elia's brother, and so um, like when you're able to like stay in solution mode, you're able to like solve problems that most people can't because they're so concerned about all the like how bad their life is or how people have to get them or it's just victim victim world where when you continue to focus on solutions, then you just start to look around you and like, okay, how do I solve this problem? And Elia is really good at that. And so her brother actually worked for Bozeman 5 star cleaning, uh, like worked his butt off, like hard worker, hard worker. And then he decided to move down to Arizona. And he's been down here for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. He's been here for quite a while. Had another job, worked at a hotel, I believe. And then um, I think Elia called him up, and by I think it was Thursday or Friday, he came into the office, got supplies, and was filling in. And so, yeah, I think this week he's actually working full time. I think he's going to work with us full time. So that's cool. Again, it's super cool, just being resourceful. And then Katie was a trainee, and Katie early signs is doing very well, which is great to see. Out of all the problems, like Katie so far is doing really well. She got 5 reviews in her very first week, which is that's pretty hard to do in your very first week. So
She
early
also had
signs,
to go through a couple different trainers because of
yeah,
trainer call outs last week. So she kind of had like a rough start, but
yeah,
I mean, it can only go up from here. So
yeah,
I got to highlight Elia really quick for 1 second. Not only is Elia a solution finder in terms of like doing what is required to make the business hum and ha, she's also a solution finder in elevating the standard. Like what she will tolerate has only risen since the day that she started. And it's really inspiring because right now, Mesa is somewhat forced to tolerate unstar-like behavior because it's simply all that we have in this moment. But Elia comes in and she's like, you guys, we cannot tolerate unstar-like behavior. Like we must, reputation is the most important thing. If we want to keep stars on the team, like we have to protect them by not allowing everybody else to pull them down. So not only is she like solution mode at the bottom, but she's also maintaining solution mode at the top, which is incredible to see.
yeah, yeah. So and then Kazaya again for just doing what needed to get done, and she went and claimed a couple times last week, and with a good attitude. I think that's ultimately too what it comes down to. Is just like, are you willing to do what like doing what's required, but also doing with a good attitude and finding ways to enjoy and finding things to learn from it. And so those are like the things I look at when things get difficult. Is like, is the person able to enjoy it? Are they able to find ways and like, oh, this is a good thing? And yeah, so those are the positives for sure. And I think those are ultimately as we continue to work our way through this situation, just understanding like what is the asset, and honestly it's the people, it's the human beings in the office and their ability to be able to yeah, stay positive when things are falling apart.
Because I was awesome. Twice last week she went out into the field. Twice last week she came back to the office at 7 p.m. to tie things up in the office. One night she had just onboarded all of the people on Friday, went out and cleaned in the afternoon, and then came back to the office Friday afternoon and was like, sorry, but I got to order supplies. I totally forgot because that was a Megan duty and we have no supplies. And I was like, Kazaya, why don't you take your computer home? And she was like, I can do that? And I'm like, Honey, you don't have to sit here till 9 p.m. ordering supplies. Like, take it home and like, yes. So during these times of like intense pressure, intense war times, intense growth season, also how people show up provides them the opportunity for more freedom within their role.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we had a couple one-on-ones. We had quite a few one-on-ones last week. You see, Jessica was the corporate of a couple, and those were definitely reactive one-on-ones. Um, and then yeah, and then one with Megan was where she decided to not be part of the team anymore. Just totally fair.
Lia's one-on-ones were just firing people.
Lia's the hammer. You don't want to talk to a Lia. You don't talk to a Lia. Yeah. So anyway, that's what it is, my friends. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that how fast you can grow something, and then how fast it can go away when you don't have the people on the team to fulfill the service. And yeah, it's like if your business hasn't gone through a season where you've been cleaner constraint to the point where you're going backwards, like there's a high probability that it will. It's just like I've never interacted with $1 million business that hasn't had a season where they have had a big cleaner constraint, whether that's a mass exodus or the hiring couldn't keep up, or a combination of both things. It's definitely part of the game. And this is the first time we've experienced this, and it's definitely it's going. It's going to go, and I think we have quite a few weeks left. In all fairness, I really do. I think that we're not even close to getting out of this. Um, one of the numbers I look at from that I put inside our office chat every single day is number of cleaners hours who count. And so if you guys look up here at the very top, you can see our cleaners goal is 17. And really, um, if you can do 14 cleaners at about 30 hours, then you can actually have a business that does $83,000. And so that's working your cleaners a lot. And so like I know that we have the cleans, so it's not the cleans that are the problem, it's the cleaners in this very moment. Anyway, and so if we can just have 14 cleaners who hours count, then we could actually get back on track to grow this thing again. And so right now we have 10. We have 10 cleaners whose hours count, and then we have people who are in training, and then we have people who are in onboarding. And so that's the situation, which would be okay if the 10 people who were hours counted actually showed up as well. But again, you can see Elizabeth had 3 call outs, and Michaela had 2.5 call outs, and Ashley had 1 call out, and Sadie had 2 call outs. And so, yeah, it makes it tough when you're already short staffed and the team is just not showing up. And this morning, as an example, on Monday morning, Emma called out, and Sadie called out, and Ashley called out, and Josie called out. So pretty pretty exciting stuff. Pretty exciting stuff. And yeah, and that's why, and the people who ultimately have to handle that is your office people. And so that's why, again, that's why they're the asset, because cleaners by nature will be inconsistent. And so that's why it's super important for your office staff to be consistent, because if they're inconsistent, it's difficult for them to handle inconsistencies. But if they're consistent, at least then they have the advantage. They have a probability they actually can handle inconsistency because they themselves are consistent. And so from office staff, like that's really what you want from like a base level skill set consistency, like base level consistency. Like when I say consistency, I mean like show up, like showing up, right? And then on top of that, then it's like how does somebody handle problems? Because all the office does is deal with problems all day long. And so are you the type of person who sees problems as a problem, or do you see problems as an opportunity? And I think that's one of the reasons that Alaya has grown so much in her role. And the reason why she's really good at it is because she really does see these as opportunities, as challenges, to see like how she can figure it out. And a challenge, like, and it's like challenging to her to try to figure out the solution, and then not only just to figure it out, but like excel in these situations. And I think that's also another thought process for everyone here to think about. It's like you don't want to just survive, like you want to thrive, which means that it's not about just like waiting for the problem to go away or handling the problem. It's like, how do you thrive when problems happen? How do you continue to grow even when you have problems, right? And it's I think a lot of it comes down to like what are your inputs. And so if we go back to inputs here, like these inputs are crazy, right? And as long as we continue to do this every single week until we hit our goal, then that's it. Like we'll just continue to do these amount of inputs, which is a lot of work, and it's also more difficult now with one less office person. So
Tyler asked a good question. Are there any takeaways from this exodus, things you'll be doing differently now? Or is this just a phase, one of those things that just happens?
yeah, it's actually really good. So I think the yeah, so how so takeaways from the Exodus. I think the big exoduses that we've had, the last couple of exoduses that we've had has come down to like change in management. Like when somebody gets hired by this boss, but then when they're no longer become their boss, somebody else becomes their boss. Um, that's what happened um, in Bozeman when Kitty was no longer the boss and like became the boss. Then people were like, I'm gonna go find a different opportunity. And then so I had to go through the process of hiring 9 cleaners in 2 weeks. And in this situation, we definitely attempted to like like when we did this like when we made this like we thought about that in this situation, but what we didn't realize is that it didn't matter if we were still there. Like we weren't actually the boss anymore, right? So like when all of our other cleaners left, like Katie and I weren't in the chats. We weren't doing one-on-ones. I mean, we were at the team meetings. That was pretty much that was our only interaction. So
And I think we could have navigated it a little bit better. Like what I've learned from this mass exodus is definitely management change. People don't like leadership change. People don't like reporting to different people than those that hired them. They're just very resilient or resistant to change, excuse me. However, we could have communicated the change that was happening and elevated Keziah because we were battling between this, like, we don't know who we were going to promote at the time to, I mean, like we knew, but we didn't know what we were going to do with the future of another location and the people in the driver's seats of Mesa. So we ended up not communicating anything in the direction that we were going. So I think it was just like we blindsided the cleaners with management change and never actually forecasted what they could expect in the future.
yeah, and also the other thing too that I really believe is that they're also like a lot of the cleaners they had expressed interest in coming to the office, and at that time there was no immediate opening in the office, and so there was no opportunity for people to continue to grow. And yeah, and so I think that we also just like ran out of room with people like who were awesome. Like all those cleaners who left were honestly were great. They were really great. They were consistent. They showed up. And they did a great job. We just didn't have a room for them to continue to grow. And so like things different. Yeah, like how we start locations. So like we always had this idea of like how to start locations, but I think that what I think we learned from it is like you actually want to put the person who you believe is going to be there long term. You need to put them there to start with. Right? And so even like when we were thinking about starting another location, we were thinking about having it like having just like a starter and then having them like start the location and then go away. But really, I think what we learned from this is that you actually want the person who you believe at least that's going to be there for the long term. You can never predict anything, but like it's like okay, if this person like you want to start with the GM in place, and that's your best probability of being able to eliminate mass staff exoduses. So for everyone here who is the owner, like you'll have less of these situations until you get office staff and then you start to like have them start to do things that you were once doing, and then all of a sudden the employees will feel less loved because instead of being able to talk to you, now they got to talk to somebody who there is their peer who they might even think that they're better than. Like, why am I talking to this person? And all of a sudden there becomes like a little bit of ego battle, and that definitely happened here with like I could tell that some of our top cleaners they were I don't know if jealous is the right word, maybe envious of both Megan and Kazai because like Megan and Kazai got here after them and they just didn't choose to like take the opportunity. And
And then another takeaway I think that I have, Tyler, for going back to your question, is honestly having less overlapping in roles. So Megan and Keziah were doing a lot of the same roles in the office, which just led to like not as much accountability
Yeah.
as we wanted. So just making somebody they're like solely responsible for something at the end of the day. Laya, let's hear your takeaway.
I was typing it, but I'll say it. So coming from Bozeman and into Mesa, I've gotten to see how my team operates here and then also how the team operates there. And one thing that has really stood out to me is from the beginning of being in the seat that I'm in, I have communicated with all of my team that no matter what, I'm going to show up for them every day. They can count on me every single day. I'm going to be here for them every single day. And in Mesa, I see a little bit of a difference of when we did have someone in a seat that had frequently called out, there was never a time that the team could count on their office staff being there for them. And when Katie and Logan were in that seat, it was very similar. Every single day they knew that they could count on them. And so I see a big difference between my Bozeman team and the Mesa team of when you trust someone that is in a higher seat and that's someone that you strive to be like, and they tell you every day I'm going to show up for you, and every day I need you to show up for me, you have that mutual respect and want to show up. And that's where I have a takeaway from Mesa is just, yeah, requiring your people at the top to show up for your team.
Yeah. I think that's good too. And I think that's also like the like this transition that Katie and I have been doing with both Megan and Keziah. And then now it's just Keziah is also just like actually just picking somebody to be in control. And like you own this. So like in Bozeman it was simple because you know, Elia just decided to like just eat everybody and they just, you know, like she swallowed them up and she's like, I'm just gonna own this job myself. Right. And that's not normal. And so now Keziah is in the situation where like she gets to own this. And by the way, like she's shown um, behaviors in the past that gave us confidence that she would act in the like she would act like an owner. Right now, she's also just needs to like she also can be coached on how she can continue to how she can be successful in this role. And I think there's no better person to teach her than Elia, who's done the role, and someone who's also her peer, and someone who she also respects, and also someone who she's closer to in both age and status and everything. Like she's gonna have more in common with Elia than she is with Katie and I, right? And I think that's like I think our big advantage is that we have Elia because like I don't know the best way to say this, but like Katie and I are just like we're in a different point in our life than most people are who are in this position, right? And Elia is much closer to like she's just 2 years removed from actually being a cleaner, right? So she's like very close to them, and she's also close to them in age as well, which means that people like it's almost like I look at it with Lainey, in our house. So Lainey's our 6-year-old. We have a 15-year-old as well named Kobe, and like Lainey wants to be like Kobe because she's like she's her sister, and she's like I want to be like her. Like she's closer to her in age, and she looks more at her sister like that than she does like at her mom because her mom is her mom, right? And I like she wants to be her mom, but like she wants to be like her sister. And so I think the goal for the business is that you want the employees to respect the parents. You want them to love the parents, but you also need somebody who they can strive to be like, and that's like a peer. And so I think that is like a really cool. I would call that an advantage that we currently have is like we have somebody who like people actually want to be like, and like I want to be like her as well. Like I want to be like Elia. So I think it works for both. It works for the owners, but also works for the employees. They have somebody who they both want to be like. I think it's very difficult to have, but if you guys are owners in your business, like that's the first step is like have somebody just like want to be like you, right? And or at least respect you, right? Because again, like if you're old balls, like you're over 30 years old, it makes you old to 20-year-olds. Then like at least have them respect you, respect your work ethic, respect that they can actually like they can rely on you to show up, that you will do, you will always be there for them, even when it's inconvenient. So
I love that. I got to hear Elia talk about the Bozeman team, and I'm just more curious than anything. Like I'm just asking her all of the questions because of the stark contrast between the Bozeman team and their culture right now, and the Mesa team and their culture. And I think, Elia, you nailed it when you said your takeaway is like, you have said from the very beginning that no matter what, you would show up. So you have first, as a leader, like said, I will show up, which rightfully gives me the ability to ask you guys to now show up, but not even ask them, just like expect them to show up. And then if they don't, the next person in line will gladly show up. And just not tolerating, I shouldn't say not tolerating, because one thing that Elia does really, really well is she actually believes that these people can become who she needs them to be successful on the team. Before they have belief in themselves in being able to show up every single day, she's like, you are reliable. You are a good human. Like, let's count on you tomorrow. You in? And
Yeah.
she will pour belief into these people. And then they're like, oh my God, I've never had anybody like care so much about me and being accountable to my job. Like I am valuable here. I do leave an impact here. Like I'm seen every single day and I feel appreciated every single day. And that's why people stick around in Bozeman and on Elia's team, is because she truly believes that they can become the person that she needs them to be on the team.
Yeah. So good.
Can I piggyback on you, Katie?
Yeah.
This is also an entry-level job. So when I came into this position, it was like, okay, I'm coming in as a cleaner, right? You think this is a very entry-level job. I'm going to scrub toilets. I'm going to get in. I'm going to do my job and I'm going to leave. So most people that move into entry-level jobs are people that don't have degrees or didn't go to school, or a lot of times do not know what they want to accomplish in their life. And that was me. And so when you have someone in the driver's seat or someone that you look up to and strive to be like, in my case, it was Katie and Logan. I'm like, these people are successful. They have a lot going on in their lives. They have strong morals. And I idolize that. But coming into an entry level job, you do not ever see yourself being in a position. It's like a dream, right? It's very far. And so when you have that and they pour into you and believe in you, then you start to get that belief as well.
So awesome.
Yeah. And so week number 57 is a fun one. It's a fun one. And yeah, we'll see what week number 58 has in store. But I think that the big takeaway is just having somebody who's a DMF. And in all your guys' life, maybe you have maybe it's your spouse. Maybe it's just you. Maybe you need to be the DMF in your life. You need to be the one who like shows like what you can do, like how much you can get through. And then as you start to grow a team, then like looking for those people is what's going to allow you to be able to, as Kitty said the word earlier, scale something, right? And all scale means is like, how do you do something where you're not the one who's directly involved in the doing? But the first step of that is just doing it yourself. And you know, I think everyone has their different stories and their different path to be able to do that. But I think you have to be your first DMF. You have to be your first. And if you guys know what DMF means, it's a down mother effer, right? Like just like somebody who's just like they will kill somebody for you, right? or they'll step in a bullet. They'll step in front of a bullet for you, right? So, like, I think in order to attract those type of people, like you'll also have to be a DMF yourself. Like, and it's like you go first. You do the hard thing. You take the bullet for your team. You take the bullet and show like what you're willing to do, and you start to attract those type of people. And that's how you scale something where you can have 1, 2, 3, 4 of anything, right? Businesses, pieces of real estate, income streams, doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, like if you're going to do more than one of anything, like you have to have and you want to sustain it, it's gonna be you involving other people in your scheme, in your money making scheme to make loads of money. Okay. Having those DMFs, like that's the next step, is like how you grow something big is you got to have people who are just willing to take bullets for you and for your clients and for your cleaners. And so those are the people that you want to, like, those are your assets. It's not the leads, it's not the clients, you know, it's the people. It's like DMFs. That's who you want. So we'll continue to pour into Alaya, because Alaya is coming down here this weekend, or this week. She's not coming down here to clean, but she's going to come down here, and it'll be super cool to have her here in Mesa, just for her energy, her presence, and it'll be good for Alaya to have that as well, and then also for the Mesa team to actually put a face and a body and an energy to Alaya, because none of the cleaners down here, I should say none of them, I think most of them have not had an opportunity to actually meet Alaya. And so having that opportunity, I think, will be very helpful for the Mesa team to just know, like, what's possible if they are reliable, if they do show up, like what's possible that if they become a star, like there's opportunity more than just scrubbing toilets, right? But yeah, excited for that, and excited to see what happens next week. So if you guys want to see the results of next week, get on again next week, and we'll see if this thing is still going down. High probability. But if it turns back around, in the next couple of weeks, that would be great. And the only way it's going to turn back around is if we just continue to hire people. Like, the constraint is very simple. We just literally don't have enough cleaners. And so it just becomes a volume game of ad spend, phone interviews, Zoom interviews, offers, onboardings, and then getting people through training. So, like, there's a lot of steps, and I understand that people are going to fall off. That's why you got to hire 4 for 2 of them to make it. So the goal for us is to hire 4 people every single week, which also is a challenge when you don't have trainers who also show up to work. So there's a whole nother element to that as well. But so what we're actually doing with that is we're just doubling up on trainers. We're just giving them more trainees and paying them more money. So just a resource game. Money, more money. Everyone gets more money. Indeed gets more money. Trainers get more money. And Katie and I are living on food stamps. So. All right, guys. I really do appreciate you guys showing up, and yeah, hopefully you guys, I think really the goal is just to humanize this. Is that even when, like, you grow a business and you know everything, like, you're still gonna have moments where you suck. You're gonna have moments where you get punched in the face. You're gonna have moments where you get embarrassed, and you're gonna have moments where it feels like the world's out to get you. And that's how, like, that's normal. That's normal. And so it's to show you guys, like, the real situation, and also, like, how to respond to it. Because I think how to respond to it is the difference between you guys actually becoming successful, whatever that means to you guys, versus staying ordinary, which we all know what that means. And the difference is just, like, how do you respond? Do you stop hiring? Do you just give up on Indeed? Do you say it's got to be the people, like, or do you just figure out how you can get better? Or how do you figure out how you can just do more volume, how you can do more people, because you realize, like, this is just the facts. Like, you're dealing with entry-level people, and sometimes their best interest is not your best interest. And the only way to actually for them to figure it out is by going through the hiring process and onboarding, going through the first week of cleaning, and being like, yeah, this isn't for me. Cool. That's okay. So, all right, guys. Have a Monday. Appreciate you guys for showing up. We'll see you guys next week on the road to $0. Here we go. Going back.
No way.
All right, guys. Bye.